according to, the president of this good country decided today would be a good day for a national day of prayer, which we are going to do because of what's going on with the coronavirus. But let's discuss some things before we get to that. The psalmist says in Psalm 56, when I'm afraid, I put my trust in you. In God, whose word I praise, in God I trust, am not afraid. What can mere mortals do to me? But even among Christians, with this coronavirus thing going around, I'm seeing this overwhelming spirit of fear in people. I watch social media and I watch the news, and I see people, even though it's not happening, I see normally reasonable people expressing these fears of complete shutdowns, government takeovers, the implementation of martial law, government-run health agencies let the old people die because they don't want to treat them because their old prognoses of riots and looting and worldwide meltdowns. And these are all for people who trust in the Lord. And I'm like, where in the world are you getting this stuff from? And they're directing me to these ultra right-wing websites and things like, why are you listening to these people? They have no foundation for what they're saying, but you're taking it and running with it because they buy into the spirit of fear. That's one of my problems in life. Well, one of the multiple problems that I have is I don't really have a spirit of fear. I'm not too much afraid of it. I mean, I'm not going to go pet a rattlesnake, but I don't fear things too much. It's gotten me in trouble before. But I can't understand why the Christian church in particular on this is acting the way that they act when they know what the Word of God says. You have nothing to fear this morning. I mean, obviously you're not too fearful because you're here. A lot of churches are shut down today. And, you know, I think the government said something like you need gatherings over 250. They didn't want them gathering or something like that. So I guess they run the risk of, I don't know if they get arrested or what, if they actually gathered, but we don't really have that many people, so I'm glad that you're here. The psalmist again in Psalm 27 says, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? When I read that, I'm asking, if people know this word, why are they acting in such a spirit of fear? You know, I mean, all this craziness going around, I think that we, above all people in this world, should be setting an example of what it means to trust in God, have some level-headedness in the midst of people panicking across the nation. And moreover, let me tell you moms and dads this. If you have it, you need to sit down with your kids and walk through this with them. Because they're fearful right now. You know, their schools are shutting down and they're hearing, I mean, they hear stuff on the news and social media as well. They're hearing it all. You know, like somebody my age, I grew up in the Vietnam War. And I can remember as a little kid being fearful about that because you see it on TV every night. You guys remember that? Every night they're talking about how many people died, and how many people got killed, and all these bombings and all these things. And then what really freaked me out when I was a kid was those, remember this is a test, the emergency broadcast system. They bring that thing across the TV like, and you're just kids, you're freaking out because it's like, oh my gosh, we're getting bombed or what? Remember, this is right after the Cold War. So I'm still one of them. Remember, you know, the lingerings from that. So you have this spirit of fear that something bad was going to happen all the time as a kid. And no one was saying, I didn't know that Vietnam was so far away. I didn't know that. I just knew that there were Americans dying in this place. And it was in our face every night in the news. You know, and now your kids are experiencing the same thing. They hear every day about, oh, this coronavirus is going to take over the world, we're about not all turn into zombies, and the world's going to split. I mean, all this crazy stuff. So please, sit down with the kids. If they're old enough to have a conversation with, they're old enough to understand that something's going on. And they need to have you be in that spirit of non-fear, that spirit of trust in the Lord, and having a level head about this and explain it to their young lives. Because they're probably freaking out a little bit about that. So I want to encourage you in that. Again, like I said, I just got the news, our kids' schools are shutting down again. We got the Friday night. They've been told to stay home. They're telling everybody this is a great pandemic going around the whole world, and then everything is just going to fall apart. And I see people, again, it just amazes me when I watch. They're like sheep, you know. And you see a group of sheep running around the mountain, and one of them jumps off the cliff, and all the other ones just follow. You know, and they don't even understand why they're jumping off the cliff. But they just follow because the other sheep are doing it. And if you want to see, please don't take this personally, you want a good example of sheep, go to Costco. It amazes me. Somebody can explain, anybody here in the medical field, other than my wife? Why do I need so much toilet paper in a time like this? Why would I need 500 rolls of, unless it does something to your body that I don't know about, you need 500 rolls of toilet paper. I don't understand that, but people seem to think all of a sudden, I need 500 rolls of toilet paper. And Paul gave me a text tonight because his friend with the window and the people were fighting, physically fighting over stuff in Winco. I walk into places like that, and there's plenty of food, plenty of groceries, things like that. I'm like, but no toilet paper. And I can open up my spigot in the kitchen and water runs out of there pretty much cheap, you know? And I was saying that to somebody the other day, they were like, oh my gosh, I'm not drinking that. I'm like, it's water. If we're in trouble, we've got water. But you're in trouble because you don't have bottled water. I'm thinking how weak we are as people when toilet paper and bottled water shuts our country down. And I can't understand why all of a sudden there's this mindset to hoard in people. Instead of trying to say, wait a minute, let's just stop panicking. Let's be reasonable. You don't need 500 rolls of toilet paper. You don't need 80 cases of bottled water. Remember, there's other people who want to come here and buy stuff, but you don't see that. It's because of this spirit of fear that's so pervasive in our country right now. And it's even going on in churches today. Now, let me say this about all this. I'm not telling you to ignore all that's going on with coronavirus, because there is a virus going around. I think it's not much more than the flu. It might be a new strain of a flu or a new thing we have to deal with, but it will be dealt with. You know, it's not something we need to lose our minds over. I encourage people all the time. You know, if you know me, I'm like, you should have some emergency food stashed somewhere in case of we live ground shakes and stuff. In case of an earthquake, in case of energy shutdown, you should have some food, you should have some water, have some fuel, have some ammo if you're that kind of person. I mean, just make sure that you're stocked. I see that number put up in the bag. You should be well stocked anyway. You should already have some extra fuel in your garage for your generator, and you have some emergency food, all these things. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not a spirit of fear. That's just a spirit of preparedness. You know, it's like any reasonable person would have that. But what we see going on right now, and it's infecting us and infecting our families, it shouldn't be. There's people who are just living in absolute fear. And I read these things that my friends are writing on Facebook, and I'm thinking, Lord, help us. I mean, they're out of their mind. I mean, they think the world's coming to an end, and toilet paper is the first thing they reach for. There's just something. You've seen it, right? I'm not imagining things. And we have to think as a Christian, how should I be responding to this? Someone needs to lead in our community, in our workplace, and in our families. They could be the leader of common sense. In a sense of just having, we're okay. I have a sense of peace, I have a sense of trust in God. And you know, like I said, we're not ignoring this. There's things that we do. Wash your hands. We all learned that in kindergarten, right? Wash your hands. Don't sneeze into your hand. Go, hey, brother, what are you doing? Yeah, please don't do that. Sneeze into your sleeve. Use a handkerchief. Don't hug somebody if you're sick. You know, don't shake hands if you're sick. Matter of fact, if you're sick, I've had people call me, I'm sick, I can't come to church. Good, thank you. We have kids coming to karate, they're snagging, sweating, like, wow, don't touch me. Because like, if you're sick, stay home. Don't come here and make you sick. That's just common sense stuff, right? But that's just something we should be looking at. You know, if you're sick, if you gotta sneeze, don't sneeze and put, you know, a geyser into the air of your disease. Cover your face. Common sense things that we should be doing in the first place. You know, there's no difference in, you know, we don't need to be panicked. We just take common sense measures and common sense concerns. You know, and people seem to be worried, even my Christian brothers and sisters, they're worried about maybe the Lord is like forsaking us or something. So I hear all this talk about fear, I hear all this talk about concern, and I see very little talk about trusting God. Very little. I see a lot of fear, but I don't see anybody saying so far, hey, you know what? Come on, God's got this. You're overreacting. Let's take a step back, breathe, look at the situation, and know that we are going to be okay. Matthew 6:25-34. This is what Jesus says about our praying. Now again, listen real close. There's a difference between being prepared or being concerned about something or taking care of some business and living in a spirit of fear, in a spirit of doubt, and a spirit of worry. And Jesus says this about that. In Matthew 6, starting in verse 25, therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you'll eat or drink, or about your body, what you'll wear. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothes? Look at the birds of the air. They don't sow or reap or store away in barns, yet they have, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Can any of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? And why do you worry about clothes? See how the flowers of the fields grow? They do not labor or spin. Yeah, I tell you that not even Solomon, in all his splendor, was dressed like one of these. That is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow is thrown into the fire. Will he not much more clothe you, you of little faith? So don't worry saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or what shall we wear? For the pagans run after these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need them. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. So Jesus saying, if he was from California, he'd say, chill it, be out, and relax, and trust him. And that's what the Christian church needs to hear in a time like this. I don't want to get into a whole diatribe about how I don't trust the media, but I don't trust the media. They tell you all kinds of things. And here's the thing, we're talking about this in the green room. Anthony was, giving me an opinion about it. This doctor says this. I'm like, yeah, but I said, it would be very easy for us to find someone online right now who's a reputable doctor that supports what you said, and then we'll look at the next line, and it'll be a reputable doctor repeating what that guy said. So, it's like, you keep hearing, trust him, don't trust him, trust him, don't trust him. You're okay, you're not okay. Yeah, I would suggest you stay away from the media and stay in your word for a while. And listen to what God says about trusting him in this time. He says, again, I told you before, the Christian church's responses have just been crazy. Here's the thing in my head. If you're going to give the Bible a casual reading, you know about the persecution of the church throughout the ages. There's always been some kind of hassle in the Christian church, in the Christian life. And even today, churches suffer greatly. If you want to hear some really good insight, look on my Facebook and you'll see a guy named Mike Knapp on there, Mike Knapp. He lives in China right now. And he's been sending me updates about what's happening in China. It'll be very reassuring for you to read what he writes, because he's right there in the midst of it. And he's going through the quarantine, he's going through the things with people and how it is there. It'll be reassuring to read what Michael writes. Some of you know him, he's been here before, but just take a look. But here's the thing I'm thinking about. All those people who lived through those times, we read about the Bible, and all the people that we read about today, when you read World Magazine or something like that, you read about the Christian church being persecuted, they don't live in a spirit of fear. They're still doing what they're called to do as a church. Matter of fact, when the pressure comes on, those churches have a tendency to grow. They have a tendency to do, what a great opportunity for us to grow in a time like this. This is a very small thing, by the way. But how great is it if we're not freaking out there in the world, we're sharing with our non-believing friends about how we trust in God in the midst of this. They're like, well, you don't seem to be too worried. Like, I know. Sit down and have a cup of coffee with me, and I'll tell you why. I'm not worried. And you can tell them about your Jesus. Well, he says about worrying about threats and things like that. We just finished the book. Here's another thing that gets me too. We just finished the book of Revelation, and several times throughout that book, we read about how in the end days the pressure is going to be on the church, about how people are going to be called to take their stand in those days for the cause of Christ. And every time we get into discussion with that, there's always these people who regale us with these great tales of how courageous they're going to be in those days. Oh, I can't wait for those days. Let them come persecuting me. I can chop my head off. They're freaking out about toilet paper. There's one thing to cause the Christian church to collapse in America. There's no chance for the Christian church when those days come, and they will come, because prophecy tells us so. It may not come today, it may not come one night, it may come in your lifetime. But it might come in your children's lifetime. And how you set that spirit of, I'm sure who Jesus is in my life. Now will determine how your kids handle that. So I don't have toilet paper. What was my Filipinos at? What's the answer to no toilet paper? Taboo. That's right. You know what that is? Ask Eunice, she'll tell you what that is. If you don't know about, if he's worried about toilet paper as a daring sin about his first trip to the Philippines, he will school you on not many people use toilet paper around the world except for us. But it's not something to freak out about. It's certainly not something to lose our cool about. And we got to be a good, solid witness in these days. The people who are out there freaking out. You go to Costco, London, they used to be evangelism, I bet. Because it seemed like it was in the last few days. There's a line outside the door of people looking to get toilet paper. You can walk up and start evangelizing them. Maybe, this is stupid. Maybe that'd be a good thing to do. Everybody donate a roll of toilet paper. Go, hey man, I got some stuff I want to tell you about Jesus. And all they sit there and listen to you, give like a roll of Charmin or something, you know. Somebody try that. Go do it. You might tell us how that went. I tell you, it's a weird place to live up here. Look, we know that someday real problems are going to come. Someday at the Christian church. Yeah, we read about it. We're told about it. We're told us to look for it. There'll be days when, I tell you, there'll be days when people going to the bathroom will be the last thing on their mind. They're trying to survive. At a time when real persecution, real trouble comes upon the people of this planet. And the people in the Christian church especially. And you know, how we are able to bear up now these small things under the leadership of Christ is going to determine how we look in those days. This is a great chance for the church to be solid in this community. For a church to be the ones who have a level head, the ones who have some common sense. We can be the ones. I've had pastors from across the country. I don't know why they call me. I've always had guys call me asking me why I think about this. I'm like, you care what I think? They call me, it's weird. They call me, what are you going to do Sunday? I'm like, we're going to have church. You're going to open up? I'm like, yeah, aren't you? I mean, because no one I know this, my friend has a church over 1,000 people. So I'm like, yeah. And I told us, I said, we've taken all the measures we can. We've taken things, we've tried to prepare, you know, clean it up, make sure things are not sticky and clean it. I said, that's all we can do. I said, how will it look? And I asked him, how will it look if our doors and windows are shuttered? We're standing behind him in a spirit of fear. Yet we're telling the world to trust in Jesus. It's not us. So we're not closing our doors. And people ask me on social media, is our church going to do it? I'm like, absolutely. We'll be here, and we do the best that we can. I mean, if you got sickness, you got sore throat, you got sneezes and all that, yeah, stay at home. That's fine. I had Jessica call me this morning. She's working there. She's like, I got a sore throat. I'm like, she's I'm going to stay home. I'm like, please do. So thank you for using common sense. You know, there's people here who have, you know, compromised immune systems. I don't get to come to church, don't be mad. I'm not mad. That's perfectly fine. I expect you not to come here if there's a chance of catching some kind of cooties from somebody with a compromised immune system. It's okay. Because I'm not freaking out about this. And neither should you. You know, again, like I said, we had to sweep over and clean that place up over there. Your kids are safe over there. They're not touching any snotty toys from last week. It's all been cleaned. And same thing in here. You know, I don't think there's a crisis to keep us from living our regular life. And I encourage one to believe in these scriptures and, you know, don't trust so much what you hear in the media. You know, again, like I have my theories about the media, but this isn't the place to expound on those. That's for another time, another place. But I believe that what Jesus, or John tells us in John 14:27, when Jesus says, don't let your heart be troubled. Don't let your heart be troubled, and don't be afraid. We don't have to be afraid of a time like this. Yeah, there's people walking around there, I mean, they got like hazmat suits on. I'm like, why? I mean, just use some common sense. And they're afraid to interact with people. All the schools are shut down. All the basketball, football, I'm not a big sports guy. Everything's shut down. Our karate tournaments are shut down. You know, we got kids. People are just totally tricked on this whole thing. I don't expect anybody to be here today with coronavirus, but you have to walk in here. Because we've done all that we can to protect you. You know, you can protect yourself. But we don't let our hearts be troubled about these things. Here's the thing, before the Hebrews entered the promised land, one of the things that God said over and over, I mean, they're going into something strange, they're going into something unknown. And it was a whole new way of life for them. And there was this spirit of fear that was pervasive throughout the camp. And God says to Joshua, who was leading him, like, have I not commanded you? Be strong and be courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. And you can trust that today. God will No, I'm not saying they go up to somebody and say, sneeze in my face because I'm a Christian and I ain't going to get sick. Then you're just dumb. And you're probably going to get sick. But you hear what I'm saying to you, right? We don't walk around being afraid of it. I'm not going to be afraid to go to the bank or go afraid to go to the gym or something like that. I'm not going to try to set somebody's public sweat. You know, I'll try to use my common sense. But I'm not going to be afraid to live my life. Neither should you. Like I said, in all things, now is time for us to shine. Now is time to show people why we're not afraid. Talk about how good our God is. Say this is just a small matter. It'll pass. I guarantee it'll pass. Wouldn't it be funny if April Fools, like in a couple of weeks, April 1st, somebody goes, you just got pranked by the greatest worldwide joke there ever has been. And now you're thinking about it, right? April Fools, there's no coronavirus. Say something, it's not really true. But my question to you is, if you ready to wrap this up, we'll do some time of prayer before we go. Do you trust God the way the Hebrews trusted God when they walked through the promised land? You trust Him? You trust Him as much as when Jesus is sitting there and His disciples listening, He goes, don't be afraid. Think hard. Don't let your heart be showing. I'm here. I'm watching over you. This is nothing to be concerned yourself about. There's a reason to have a worldwide panic epidemic. This too will pass. Hope that you remember all these things. When we go through something like this, the church always seems to, like I said, in all the conversations I've had, not all of them, but 95% of them, the last thing they want to talk about is trusting God. You know, they talk about all these crazy things that are happening. We've got to remember what Paul says in Romans 8. This is this. And I've shared this with you before, and I think somebody said this. Rachel, I think, quoted this scripture when she was up here. This is what we can count on. Romans 8, starting in verse 31. What then shall we say in response to all these things? If God is for us, who can be against us? He who did not spare his own son but gave him up for us all, how will he not also, along with him, graciously give us all things? Who will bring any charge against those whom God has chosen? It is God who justifies. Who then is the one who condemns? No one. Christ Jesus, who died, more than that, who was raised to life, is at the right hand of God and is also interceding for us. Who then shall separate us from the love of Christ? Shall trouble, or hardship, or persecution, or famine, or nakedness, or danger, or sword? You can probably write in coronavirus in there, and God will be okay with that. It is written, for your sake we face death all day long. We are considered as sheep to be slaughtered. Knowing all these things, we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. For I am convinced neither death, nor life, neither angels, nor demons, neither the present, nor the future, nor any powers, neither height, nor depth, nor anything else, all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus our Lord. And in times like this, I want to encourage you to remember those words to you. Trust in Him. Don't be afraid that the whole world's going to fall apart. Please talk to your children about this so their little hearts aren't covered in the spirit of fear. Because they're hearing this, and they're worried. You know, they're telling all kinds of things at school that, you know, how worried they need to be. You just step in and say, our God's got this. Amen? Amen. So, President Trump said this is a national day of prayer. I don't care if you like him or not. That's a good idea for us to pray. So let us do some praying this morning. Would you stand with me as we pray? Let's play old school. Anybody feel led to pray with us out loud today? Would? Thank you, Stacy. Come on up. We're friends. I can get away with this. Ben, come on up. I'm glad you raised your hand too. Did you see Stacy come up? See, you're not alone, right? No, it looks like Jesus. You might as well pray for us. Pray, and then I'll pray, then we'll sing one song, and then we'll go to this place. We want to pray over. Let's see, you got support, girl. Come on, if anybody wants to, I don't care. But kick us off there.
Heavenly Father, we just come before you, Lord, just united for your Son, Jesus, who died for us, Father. Lord, we just reject any type of spirit of fear, Lord, in this church, in our church body, and in this world, Father God. We just pray that you just reign over us right now. Calm any fears in anybody, Lord, and just let everybody know through us, as you shine through us, Lord, that there is no fear with you, Father. Lord, we love you, Jesus.
Father God, we said today in Jesus' name, we're not afraid. And the whole media wants to keep us in this constant state of fear, as they always do. In this constant state of confusion, as they always do. But your word is not confusing. And your word says that we don't have a spirit of timidity and fearfulness. We have a spirit of power in us. And Lord, we don't deny that there's a coronavirus. That would be silly. But we also know that you are the God over all things. And that we just ask you to give us the sense of how to protect ourselves, how to keep things clean, how not to contract the virus. Tell us not how to walk like we're afraid the whole world is ending today. We will walk in the way that people will say, how can you walk so confidently? We'll say, because of Jesus in our life. We don't walk around our heads down looking at the ground like it's in the world. We look for opportunities to share about the faith that we have in Jesus Christ in a world that's so fearful right now. Lord, I pray for all the Christian people who are called by your name. They're living in the spirit of fear. Let them rise up. Let them hold their heads up. Let them understand that they have the opportunity now in this world to speak faith into someone's life, to speak truth into someone's life, to speak a lack of fear into someone's life today. Lord, anybody that we know that's in contact with this virus, we pray in Jesus' name that you bring miraculous healing in their body. And again, they'll say, I had it, but Jesus healed me. Listen, all things trust in you. All things hope in you. And all things have confidence in you. We pray this in Jesus' mighty name. And all God's people say, amen. Hallelujah.